Hello people, my name is Laurie and welcome to another edition of DR Boxing. DR Boxing, in case you don't know, is a regular weekly show where myself and guests will discuss all the relevant topics taking place in the world of boxing. Joining me on the show today, to my far left, my boy Shane in the house.
What's up, man?
Welcome.
To my immediate left, Nick, otherwise known as the voice of reason on the show.
Well, my dear.
How come he gets that nickname?
And to my right, it's my honour and pleasure to introduce the AJ, the Ryan Garcia, the Loma Simp.
The Loma Simp, yeah, brilliant. This guy gets voice of reason, he gets welcome back, I get simp, brilliant.
He's a Conor McGregor simp as well.
He's every time I see it. He's just a clout
Just a knowledgeable man. I am a knowledgeable man.
Simp.
Boxing
we love him
expert,
all the
I'd
same.
say.
We love him all the same, man. That's my guy. Okay, no further ado then. Over the weekend, there was a big fight that took place in Las Vegas, Nevada. Devin Haney of Las Vegas, America, taking on Vasily Lomachenko for the undisputed lightweight championship of the world. Great occasion, great fight. Devin Haney wins a highly contested, very close, somewhat controversial but unanimous decision. Two scorecards of 115-113 and a bizarre 116-112, but all the judges scored in his favour. Now, we did a watch-along. We were split ourselves. There's been a lot of controversy, a lot of stuff going back and forth, and it's still raging as we speak. Personally, I had it on the night, and you can go back and look at the watch-along that we did, which was great fun, by the way, guys.
Definitely.
I had Haney up by a round, but it was a very close fight. My two guys here,
We both had it draws.
We both had it draws, yeah.
and then the Loma Simp.
Loma up by a round.
He had it to Loma, but even he on the night said it was a close fight. But
I had it by
think he's
one
changing
round
his
as well,
mind.
yeah.
But anyway, let's start with the Loma Simp, James.
I'm not changing my mind.
Have you watched the fight back?
Yeah, I have. I was toying with you when I said I thought it was. I thought it was a 9-3. I do still
Was it a
actually.
robbery?
I think it was a robbery in the sense that I still think Lomachenko won. Now, the one point I was wrong with.
Let me cut you right there.
You can cut me,
Didn't last long
slice me,
at all, blood.
chop
No,
me
you
up.
can't say it was a robbery and you think Loma won. I mean, a robbery is like, and this is where a lot of people are getting it twisted. A robbery is something like, think of Jack Catterall versus
Josh Taylor.
Josh Taylor. That's a recent one. That's the most recent one I can think of, to be honest. Or the Barroso,
Or the
Rosen,
roller, yeah, Rollerson.
where some real skullduggery goes down. This was not like that. It was like, we all watched it. We all had different opinions. I respect, if you tell me you thought Loma won, I respect that. But if you tell me it was a robbery, then I'm...
Okay, well, I'll tell you, it's a robbery in that, one of them gave it 116 to 112. That is daylight robbery in that sense. I don't know what narcotics that geezer's on, but he's certainly not living the same life I am, or he's not living in the same realm of reality. The one part I was wrong on, I gave Lomachenko round 12, but I think upon reflection, that was Devin Haney's round.
Yeah,
which would have made it 6-6, but...
Can I just say on that as well, very quickly, Loma said in an interview that I saw that he gave up the 12th round.
Yeah,
so that,
I did, exactly. But I was not making it a draw because I only gave Lomachenko 2 of the first 4. However, upon reflection, I would have given him 3 of the first 4. Still making it 7-5.
Right.
That's very convenient
That's
of you.
I think
mad.
it was convenient, but it's factual. It is factual. Upon second reflection, I think
Well,
a
it's-
second
well, it's
round
not
I gave to
factual.
Devin
Well, it's
Haney.
not factual.
I must
None of
admit,
the
I must
judges
admit,
gave
It
it
is
that way.
factual. It is straight.
None of the judges
no,
gave
I
it that
believe
way.
you, but you know what you did there? That is why I don't watch fights back like that. Because I like to go with because I scored it at the time,
Yeah.
and we was all there, and we was all taking it seriously. If I go back and watch it again, that means might be looking out for things that, you know what I mean?
But in the same
Subconscious.
sense, also,
Not just that, the judges themselves don't get to watch the fight twice. They only
Yeah.
get to watch the fight
I
once.
want to talk about that in a
But
second.
they're also paid to watch it. But the thing I will say also,
You were paid to
upon
watch
first
it.
reflection as well, I favoured Devin Haney so much. I also, this is the reason why a lot of people will come out and say it's a robbery. It's not necessarily just because they think Lomachenko won clear way because they thought he was a lot better. It's because people expected so much less from Lomachenko. And inherently, you don't think you have a bias when you're watching something. But because people expected Devin Haney to control the fight so much more, as I did, every little thing
That's a
Lomachenko
good point.
does
Yeah,
is
of course.
magnified so much more than anything Devin Haney did. So that's why a lot of people I'm hearing say even gave like 8 to 9 rounds potentially to Lomachenko. I heard it out there.
Ridiculous.
I've heard it out there. I don't agree with that.
To me,
Like I said, I thought
those
it
are
was on the
people that
knife edge,
wanted
but-
Loma to win.
course.
Because you can't watch that
Exactly my
fight
point.
and give him 9 rounds because he gave up quite a few of the early rounds, to be honest. Anyway, Without any
But
further
upon
ado.
reflection, quickly, it was not a robbery, but I still edged it to Lomachenko.
That's fair
No,
enough.
that's perfectly fine. I personally
Shane?
thought that on the night, and I agree with Laurie. And one thing we didn't talk about, what I will bring up is we watched the fight without sound, and I always feel
That's
that
the best
when
way.
you watch the fight, exactly, when you watch the fight without sound, which majority of people who are speaking were either ringside amongst a very heavy Lomachenko fan base, or watching it with very, very heavy.
Can I correct you there?
commentary.
There is one sound you should listen to while you're watching it, and that is the sound of us four geniuses
course.
right here. So make sure you tune in to all the
course.
watch-alongs so you can hear some cracking, unbiased
Of course.
boxing punditry.
Definitely unbiased. The commentary on Top Rank was very, very biased.
That's
so
what I heard.
that's why many people who aren't as detailed, they get distracted by what they're hearing from the commentators instead of actually watching it. We just got to watch it without any, anybody else's opinion inflicted into us. Now, the reason why I watched it back is because there was many rounds, and if you watch back the live stream that we done, there's many rounds where we all said that's a close round. We didn't know how to score it. And there was 2 rounds you gave 10-10. Now, I watched those back, and the rounds that you gave 10-10, ironically, was the rounds that was actually identical in terms of the punch stats, which was round 8 and round 1. Identical in terms of punch stats. When I watched the fight the first time, I gave it a draw, and I gave both swing rounds to Lomachenko. So it was 6-6. But when I watched it back, when I split it, I gave 1 round extra to Devin Haney, which was the 8th round, and I had Devin Haney winning. Now, in my personal opinion, I think that there is no way you can call that fight a robbery. Impossible. There's no way you can watch that fight without... If you were to remove your opinions of Devin Haney and Lomachenko and just watch it as 2 people you've never seen before, there is no way you're going to say that that fight was a robbery. You'll just score it based on how everybody else scored it, and or how everybody neutral scored it. And it was a close fight that you can give to either fighter. Now, before anyone in the comment section says, oh, you guys are just... you're hating on Lomachenko, or you guys love Devin Haney. Anyone who says that, I've been following Lomachenko probably before you. Laurie will tell you, I love Eastern European fighters. Lomachenko, I've been following Lomachenko since the amateurs. I love Lomachenko as a fighter. But in my personal opinion, I thought that was not a robbery, and he's a champion, so to give him the belt and to give him the victory, there is no shame in that.
Yeah,
No
hey,
shame.
we got to point out that in boxing, that kind of unofficial thing is you have to defeat the champion comprehensively to get the decision. Now, you may say that is right, or you may say it's wrong, but that is like an unofficial sort of thing, constitution in boxing. Everybody knows that to be the case. Nick, the voice of reason.
The thing is, I want to clarify, like, for people, because a load of my friends messaged me saying I heard it was a robbery and blah, 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 because that's all they've heard. And I had to clarify to them what it means for robbery in boxing. Robbery means that everybody watching it outside of the 3 judges are all in agreement that fighter A wins, and all the judges give it to fighter B by a wide margin. So it's not controversial. It's clear as day a robbery. When we were watching it, we were split, and everybody was split. The comment section and the live chat was split. People were saying, you don't know what you're talking about, none of you, because Loma clearly won. Other people saying, you know what you're talking about.
Devin.
Haney clearly won, and lots of people in the chat had it a draw. So the very fact that there is no set there's no set consensus as to who won means it cannot by definition be a robbery. The only reason we're having this conversation is because of one judge giving the wide scorecard of 116, 112. Do you know what I mean? Only because of that 116, 112 are we even having this conversation in the first place, because like I say, I scored it a draw. It could have gone either way. I actually said, because I screen recorded
Did you watch it back?
No, I haven't watched it back, but I screen recorded it and sent it to my friends, our reaction to it, and all of us said, we both said, we've got it a draw, but if it goes 1 or 2 rounds in either direction, we could see all of these possible results. So that means that it's impossible for something to have possibly been a robbery, because there is no consensus in the first place.
And how can Loma categorically say that he won when he clearly gave more than one? He took more than 1 round off.
He said that he gave up the 12th round. How can you give up the 12th? I don't believe he give it up anyway.
But also, a lot of my friends that were coming to me and said that a lot of them are casuals, and a lot of my, they're not in like a disrespectful way, but they'll say that themselves. But a lot of them that were making the argument that Lomachenko won were going by statistics, and some of the statistics of headshots versus body shots, and you have to watch some of the statistics can be manipulated in such a way, because you have to. Me and Shane are fighting, it's 100 punches and 100 punches. It depends. Are all his 100 punches in 1 round and mine is spread across the other round?
That is such a good point.
It doesn't matter. So when you're looking at total, it doesn't matter. You score
I think something like the Compy stats had
Yes.
had Lomachenko landing 5 more punches than Haney. 1-5 is not significant. Come on.
But he also landed more to the head. Devin Haney's game plan was to hit him to the body and suck the oxygen out of Lomachenko, which I must state did not work very effectively.
He lost the last round. He lost the last round.
Lost the last round, but Lomachenko, the much older guy that we said going into the fight, we didn't expect him to go as deep into the distance anyway in the championship rounds that would decide the fight. You said rounds 9 to 12 would decide the fight, and the fact that Lomachenko was so convincing through round 9 through to round 11. Yes, round 12.
But you have to give rounds to Devin Haney if his game plan is to go in. 1 second, if it wasn't effective for the long-term game plan, I agree with you. But again, you score fights round by round.
Facts.
So if my plan is to go in and jab to the body at will, and all round I'm moving and hitting the body, I get that round. I win the round.
Was it affecting him?
It doesn't matter.
It's still a one round.
Can I just interject here? I think it's important to establish, and this is something that we've spoken about on this program before, what the official criteria for scoring boxing fights are. And there's 4. 1 is effective aggression. 2nd is ring generalship. 3rd is defense. And 4th is hard and clean punches. Now, hard and clean punches to the body should count as much as hard and clean punches to the head do. Yes. But you will often find that a lot of people ignore body shots. They just do. That just tends to happen. The other thing I want to say on the fight, if you go back to last week when there was that immediate uproar, outrage, he got robbed. A lot of those same people that said that are now saying, you know what? When I got back home, I watched the fight and I changed my mind. Notably Shakur Stevenson, notably Tim Bradley, and 1 or 2 other people saying, I might have been affected by the crowd, the commentators, all these things.
But that's pathetic because that's the same for every...
No, but I'm just saying that is what happens.
I know, but it's so frustrating because that is the same for every boxing match and the same for every sport. There's always a home and away player.
Can I say this though? And this is something that boxing needs to do on a whole. When it comes to judging, for me, I feel like the judges ringside, you guys should all know, but if you don't know, where the judges sit, they get 1 look at a shot. 1 look.
They're at different angles.
And 9 times out of 10, from a specific angle, you don't even know if it. Let's say you're standing south of the ring and it's literally northwest of the ring, and the person's back is facing you. You don't know if the shot's landed or not from your perspective. For me, us on the...
Do they not have a monitor?
No, you just get 1 time of looking at it. That's what I think. I feel like, for one, judges should be separate from the crowd, under supervision, obviously, but separate from the crowd because they can be influenced by the crowd. But also, I feel like they should have the opportunity.
No, but once you're in the arena, you can be influenced by the crowd because Shakur Stevenson
he's
said.
Not saying in the arena.
I'm not saying in the arena.
Saying put him in
because why do we get an opportunity to see a punch landing that they don't? Because they can say at first glance that it may not have landed, but it actually does. That's what I'm saying.
I like the idea of having them separate from the arena, but not the idea of watching back certain moments, because then who decides what moments they want to watch back?
That's true.
Do you know what I mean? But like, I know what you're saying, and
I'm not so sure about that. You want the judges to be right by the ringside so they can see what's going on.
But what if it's impossible to see every shot. You've been ringside. There's no way you can see every shot.
No, but that's why the judges are positioned at different points.
Yeah, but your perspective is only going to be from one eye. That for me, I feel
it's actually from 2 eyes.
One set of eyes. I feel like it should be split.
Well, I tell you what they should do. I mean, look, I see what you're saying. Maybe if they had more angles, they'd be able to see more punches. They'd be able to judge it more clearly. But I tell you the problem with these judges: no accountability. They should have to write down after each round specific bullet point reasons exactly
They've
why
only got a minute in between rounds.
They should have to come up with reasons exactly why they gave that round to that person, and they should be held accountable and questioned for it after the fight. They should have to come out in front of the press like the boxers do, like anyone has to, and they should have to be accountable for their actions, because how someone can come out and give that 116, 112, that is, although you may say the overall fight was in a robbery, that is disgraceful for someone that has done for someone that has done what Lomachenko did at his age, that had put himself through there, got himself fit enough to go through a fight with Devin Haney like that, bouncing back from losses to get done that dirty by a judge who is then going to go away into the shadows and not be heard from.
You're using very emotional terms, being done that dirty. You just said it weren't a robbery.
No, I'm saying the one guy that gave it 116, 112. That is doing him dirty, and he should have to be, because overall, yes, the overall in that fight, the other judges gave it closer. But how many fights have we seen where judges have messed things up and there has been robberies? Unless if you start holding these people accountable for the dodgy decisions they make and make an example out of someone, it's going to keep happening again and again and again.
If you go and Laurie will know this definitely, after a fight, and this is after a fight when a fight's done, judges disappear. Literally, I've literally been ringside and all of a sudden you don't know where they go. Like literally they be sitting right under.
They go into the shadows.
Bro, they literally disappear into the abyss. But that will never happen, by the way. That will never ever happen.
It's the only way
I think with Saturday's fight, the Haney Lomachenko fight, obviously, a lot of people got upset because when they analysed the judges' scorecards, and they are made public, by the way, the guy who scored it 116 to 112 for Haney, there was the 10th round, which everybody acknowledges as one of Loma's best rounds. Yeah, everybody says that. This guy actually scored that to Haney, so that is, suspicious. You have to wonder what's going on there. But then there are other people that's saying that Lomachenko swept all the last 3-4 rounds. If you look at the 12th round again, it's clear that Haney won that round. And as I said earlier, Lomachenko has admitted that he gave up that round. So if the fighter himself said he gave up that round and people are still giving him that round. Anyway, listen, the fight was close. I had it 6-5-1, 6 rounds to Haney, 5 rounds to Lomachenko. I had 1 round even. There were very close rounds. There were some swing rounds in there that you could have gone either way on. And as I said, in boxing, there is that long-known convention where you have to beat the champion. I mean, beat him to get a close decision.
Do you think that's right, though?
Whether it's right or wrong, that's what it is.
Do you think that should be a thing? Do you think that should be a thing?
No, but that's a separate argument. I'm just saying that for the purposes of this discussion, that is how boxing fights are scored. So, given all of that to me, Haney won the fight. I'd love to see a rematch. At the moment, Lomachenko's talking like he doesn't really want the rematch for whatever reason. Haney said he'll give him the rematch, but we'll see what happens. But yeah, that's how I saw it.
Yeah.
You guys, you said you watched it and you changed your mind?
I've watched it, and the only winner I've ever scored, like I've watched it more than twice. The only winner I've ever given it to is Devin Haney. Even when I gave every swing round to Lomachenko, I still had it a draw.
Yeah.
What people should be questioning. It's not a robbery. It's not a robbery. If you're a Lomachenko fan or you're Lomachenko yourself and you want to feel aggrieved, fair enough. But it's not a robbery. Even away from that, you have to rip it from the... Forget about that. If they're just 2 random fighters with no titles on the line, it's still not a robbery. So it's just completely irrelevant.
And if you're that aggrieved about scoring, right, go and watch the Katie Taylor-Chantel Cameron and you tell me how one of those judges had that draw. Because to me, Chantel Cameron won at least 7 of the 10 rounds.
Should he not have to come out and explain as to why he gave that? Do you not think he should have to come out and explain?
Well, yeah, in an ideal world. Yeah, in an ideal world.
Who are we giving the you don't know shit about boxing award to this week?
Because people like Nelly and Little Boosie and people like that were saying that.
Shakur Stevenson.
Well, Shakur Stevenson changed his mind now.
Exactly, that's why you give him the award.
What about...
You had all these people coming out and saying, well, they don't know anything. That's a whole nother video. That's a whole nother video.
Let's not do that.
That guy, man, seriously.
You know what? Let's move on. Come on.
What I'd like to say about Paulie Malignaggi are probably not a good idea for me to say on the show.
Don't say it with me on camera.
He actually got beaten up in a spar by Conor McGregor.
Yeah, he did, and then tried to deny it. And that tells you everything you need to know about that guy. But listen, thanks very much for watching. We've discussed it. We disagree on certain finer points. What we all agree on is it was not a robbery. So thank you very much for watching. Keep it locked on DR Sports Boxing. Like, share, subscribe.